I moved to a small Midwestern town in late October. It wasn't the kind of town you choose because you want to. It was the kind you move to because the job offer is decent and the rent is cheap. The population, just under 3,000. One grocery store, one gas station, one blinking traffic light. I arrived just before dusk. The sky was gray and flat, and the trees lining the roads were nearly bare. The houses were spaced out, but not far apart. Most of them had porches. Most of those porches had someone sitting on them, watching the road, watching me. I told myself that's just how small towns are. Curious. The next morning, I stopped at the only grocery store in town. It was smaller than I expected. The aisles were narrow. The fluorescent lights hummed softly overhead. I grabbed a few things and stepped up to the register. The cashier, a middle-aged woman with tired eyes, scanned my items and said, "Settling in okay, Daniel?" I was caught completely off guard. I hadn't introduced myself. I wasn't wearing a name tag. I hadn't used a card yet. I forced a nervous smile. "Yeah, just moved in." She nodded like she already knew. "We heard." I thought to myself, heard what? From who? That afternoon, I stopped at the gas station. The clerk, a younger guy, maybe in his early 20s, looked up as I walked in. "Hey, Daniel," he said casually. That hit harder. I stared at him. "How do you know my name?" He hesitated, just slightly. Then he shrugged. "Small town." That phrase, small town, just seems to me like a cover for everyone is watching and knows your business. On my third day, I checked the mailbox. Inside were 2 envelopes. One was addressed to me. That made sense. The other was addressed to Daniel Harper, 112 Briar Lane. Same address, same name, but different handwriting. No return address. Inside was nothing but a blank sheet of paper. Nothing written, no message, just paper. I tried to tell myself it was nothing, but something was just off with this place. I decided to stop by the town office. The building was old, brick, one desk and a hallway of filing cabinets. I asked the clerk about property records. She didn't ask why. She just pulled out a folder. I saw my name, Daniel Harper. Occupant, 1992 to 93. I blinked. That couldn't be right. She flipped another page. Daniel Harper, occupant, 2004, 2005. Another, Daniel Harper, occupant, 2016 to 2017. My stomach began to tighten. "That's not me," I said. The clerk didn't look surprised. "No," she said calmly. "It never is." That evening, I knocked on my neighbor's door. He answered immediately, like he'd been waiting. Older man in his late 60s. "You're the new Daniel," he said. The new Daniel. That phrasing felt incredibly strange. I asked him directly if other people with my name had lived in the house. He didn't hesitate. "3 before you." "What happened to them?" I asked. He simply said, "They moved." I asked if he knew why. He looked past me toward my house and just said, "They always do." I couldn't sleep that night. Around 1:30 a.m., I heard something. Not loud, just movement outside. I looked through my living room window. Across the street, 3 people stood on the sidewalk, looking at my house. They weren't hiding. They weren't talking. Just watching. When I turned on a light, They walked away. Slowly. Together. The next day, I went to the small public library. There was a local newspaper archive there. I searched my name. There were articles. Short ones. Missing persons reports. Daniel Harper, 1993. Daniel Harper, 2005. Daniel Harper, 2017. Each one said the same thing. Left town abruptly, no forwarding address. But the attached photos were different people. Different faces. Same name, same house. That night, there was a knock at my door. 3 slow knocks. When I opened it, no one was there. But on the porch railing was a framed photograph. It was of my house, taken years ago, and standing in the front yard was someone who looked like me. Not identical, but close enough. On the back of the frame was written, "4th time's the charm." The next morning, I went back to the town office. The clerk already had the folder open. She didn't look surprised. She slid one final page toward me. Daniel Harper, occupant 2023-2024. Projected move-out date, October 31st. I looked at the date. It was October 29th. I asked her, what happens if I don't leave? She smiled and answered flatly, "You always do." This has been Velvet Dread. Sleep well, if you can. If you enjoyed this story, like and subscribe for more stories like this, narrated by an actual human.